I'm gonna have a decaffeinated coffee with almond milk, an apple and a banana. Hiya, so this is a breakfast at home. It's Saturday. I'm really struggling having breakfast in the mornings, so I end up having it at work, and it's not a great habit to get into, and I'd rather kind of eat at home, but it's not quite happened yet. But I'll just got to get up a little bit earlier, get everything done. But it's hard to sort of go to bed on time to be able to get up earlier, and I'm still trying to complete all the stuff I want to complete. Now I've got a bit more energy because I'm not having so much sugar, but it's just a fine balance of getting all the stuff done and getting sleep at the same time. But anyway, this is my breakfast. I've got 40 grams of oats. I've got 5 grams of a seed mix from Lidl's, which is like linseed and blueberry powder and stuff like that. It's which is 1.5 cents. I've got 15 grams of sultanas, which is 2.5 cents. So this together is 4 cents. 4 cents and 1 healthy extra B. I've also got 1 chopped apple in here and like a sort of a quarter of a banana. I'm also going to have a decaffeinated coffee with almond milk. I'm just going to take my time and sit and eat some breakfast. See you in a bit. Okay, so we've made some sort of funny little things here out of corn flakes and peanut butter and coconut and honey, and Guy's just been enjoying mushing some cornflakes, and she's sprinkling it over the top in the pestle and mortar. And so I haven't been able to resist eating these, so I've eaten, like, you know, bits and bobs as we've been making them. Just making them for some sort of packed lunchy type of affair. So when we go and give my partner his lunch, we'll take the kids to the shop, so we've got to try and have something just to feed them. We've got lots of cornflakes to eat up, so we'll do that. Yeah, go on him. So I think that's, you know, it's probably my sins for the day, I would have thought, but it was very good. Go, I'd like to show you the model. Guys made a campsite garden. Would you like to show the features?
Here's the campfire. Here's the waterfall, and here's the splashes. Here is the tree, the little sapling, and here's the big apple tree, and here's a bridge over the lake.
Very nice. Well done, Gaia. You worked hard on that, didn't you? So yeah, so basically I'm going to go for, I don't know really what to do with those. Probably just go for, probably 15, you know, that's my 15 sins most definitely, because obviously it's about a tablespoon of peanut butter in each one, thereabouts. I haven't eaten one out of here, it's just been kind of licks of my fingers, and I tried initially to make them into little tiny balls, just sort of like little small ones, but they didn't quite work, so I probably had one of the tiniest balls and things, so I'm not entirely sure how many I've had. But none of this part of this is a healthy extra, so I can't count any of the healthy extra, so I'll probably just have to say I don't know how many sins I've had and just leave it at that, and I'll leave my sins for the day now. I won't have any more sins, and I'll just have my healthy extras as per usual. I've had 1 healthy extra this morning already in my porridge. And I've obviously already had my 4 healthy extra sins this morning. Well done. Come on then.
Can I eat one?
Yeah, you can eat one, of course you can. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'll just carry on as normal today. Today is a Saturday, so I'm going to have my spaghetti bolognese later anyway. So we'll just have that. I don't feel particularly bad about what I did. I don't feel too compulsory about it. I just felt like the kiddies, I was trying to help my son eat one, so I thought, well, if I eat a little one of them, then otherwise I'm not eating them, then he's not eating them. And I just thought, well, one of those scenarios where you're helping your children try something new by eating it yourself. So I'm not really, I didn't feel compelled to eat it. I didn't feel like, I didn't feel a natural craving to do it. I just felt that it was a sort of a normal thing to do, and I certainly don't want to eat any more now. I enjoyed eating what I did eat, but I don't want to, and I don't feel compelled now to eat the rest of them. For example, so it didn't do the same thing that I didn't like about it before. I didn't do it where it where I didn't feel compelled. So I'm comfortable with that, and I'm okay. All right, it's enough of me just showing you a picture of the cakes, or what they're called, some sort of something or other that I've made. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make them the rest of their packed lunch to take with them, and then I will see you a bit later. Bye. These, on the other hand, way harder. I've just made my daughter a lettuce and mayonnaise sandwich, and I've been doing like a rabbit, so that side, and then I'll do that side. So I've done like little rabbit sandwiches with this little rabbit cutter. Downside is there's bread left over, the crusts, and it's lettuce and mayonnaise. So I've just accidentally eaten those. I've just compulsively eaten them. So I'm gonna put. I don't think it's a response to the kind of eating the other stuff. I think it's just a separate issue where I eat, like, when you've got leftover bits. I don't know exactly what's going on in my head right now, but I just thought I'd video it. So I'm not going to feel bad about eating the stuff. I'm not going to feel bad about going over my sins. I'm not going to feel bad about losing it. I'm just literally just going to think, why these things? And I must admit, nowadays I'm putting a lot more sort of danger things in my way. I'm starting to put a lot more stuff in my life that I took out in order to protect myself from binging. So it probably will be harder for me, but I'd like to just carry on doing it, really. And I think one of the ways I'm going to do it is just by experiencing it and finding ways to figure out, how to. I certainly don't want to kind of. Because the aim is I get to live a normal life. I'm just going to carry on doing the sandwich. At the same time, I might just pause and. Yeah.
I add some more.
Yeah, I'm just trying to shove you in the pasta cupboard. Yeah, so I was sort of trying to now think about. I know none of this is really, life-threatening stuff, but it's just little behaviours that it's sort of habitual behaviours that I'm not keen on, and this is how I used to live my life all the time, which is why I ended up kind of 3 stone overweight. It's all those tiny little bits that ended up, because I was never really somebody who I thought of as kind of being, I was always relatively healthy. I always ate fruit and veg. It wasn't something that I was majorly, I was not very extremely unhealthy. I ate very similar to how I do now. It's just my priorities. I sort of took fruit and veg took fruit and veg advantage. I can't remember how it is. Like you take. I took it for granted. That's it. Took it for granted. Whereas now my focus is more on that. But I've still got behaviour that I used to have before. It's which is why for a while I'd avoided baking with my children, just because I'd want to eat it straight after. And I know realistically I can't just take stuff out of my life and then magically it's fine. I need to face these issues rather than just ignoring them. So thanks so much, guys, for being there with me with this bit, because there's nothing worse, there's nothing harder than like doing something, especially when you're doing YouTube stuff. You're like, well, I could very easily just pretend that I didn't have that, and I think that's where your brain is really trying to play mind games with you. It's really trying to push hard that it could carry on doing those things. It wouldn't matter, nobody would ever know, which is the whole that's the classic secret eating, isn't it? But I don't really, and I know I could, I don't even have to do this YouTube channel. I know, you know, this is me talking to my brain, where I know full well that I don't even have to do any of this. I could carry on very comfortably, secret eating all the time. Nobody would ever have to know. I'm pretty good at it. And I could, you know, but the point is it's not okay for me to do that, because I'll be unhappy. And it's far better for me to deal with the issues that I have surrounding food and live a long, happy life than it is for me to turn my brain to good rather than evil, to try and, you know, stop this bit where it finds, you know, it just wants to do something, and it, you know, it's got power over me. I just hate that bit. You know, because the realistic thing is that if I really want a lettuce and mayonnaise sandwich, I can have a lettuce and mayonnaise sandwich. I could actually, I just put those crusts in the bin. I can get another piece of bread out. I can sin it. I can have a look. I can see how much it is. And I can get my lettuce out. And I can get the mayonnaise out, and I can sin it. And it probably wouldn't even be that much. But the bit I kind of regret, what's the word, the bit I resent about my brain is the bit where it thinks just, you know, that it thinks it just wants to eat the crusts of it. Why would it do that when it can perfectly easily just make itself another sandwich? And I think lots of it probably is down to kind of not, you know, not respecting myself enough, not kind of valuing myself enough, that I would think that I could take some time out and actually sit and eat this sandwich if I wanted it. You know, lots of it's all based around, oh, I don't have time, you know, martyrism, where, oh, I don't have time for this, you know, I have to snatch moments when I can. And, you know, because, yeah, admittedly, that was exactly how I used to have to live my life when when the kiddies were small. But it really isn't like that now, and there's so much of my brain that has to catch up, and there's so much of me that wonders if, you know, it gets joy from sneakily eating something rather than just sitting down and eating it. You know, there's so much mixed up in that it isn't so simple. But I'm willing to just carry on the process. I'm willing to carry on making mistakes, but you know what I mean, it's not really a mistake, but carry on having learning moments where we're, you know, learning about how always learn more about how we interact with food by making difficult choices around it. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm just going to use this YouTube channel as a promise to myself to keep recording all of those little moments that occur. And I'm pretty sure that I'm at this point now because my brain is rebelling. Pretty sure I'm there because you know, I've been off sugar for a while. I've been on plan for a surprising amount of time, sort of maybe like, you know, more than a month almost, which over the time of Slimming World is quite unusual for me to be on plan that long without some point, you know, scuppering myself. So it's going to be one of those, you know, it's going to be one of those things where I now have to ride it out. I'm going to carry on making mistakes. I'm going to carry on learning from them. And here is my little piece of sandwich. Just cut my little rabbits out, put them there, and then this here. This is cheese and peanut butter. This is for my son. And I'm just going to go and put it straight in the bin. Here's the bin. I can put it in the bin. That's in the bin. It's all gone now. I don't need to eat that. So I'm going to go and get everything else sorted out. So we're ready to leave. I've made their sandwiches now. I'm just going to put a piece of fruit in there. I've got some popcorn here that I'm going to put in some little pots for them. And then we're going to go and do our jobs. And then we're going to come home. And I think we're going to tidy the house as a special treat. And probably have a look at Guy. I wanted to do some sewing, so I'll probably do a bit of sewing this afternoon. and yeah, make some spaghetti bolognese for tea. Okay, thanks for being there, guys. I'm going to do my next bits. Lots of love. See you in a bit. Hiya, I'm just eating some popcorn. There's a couple of handfuls. Again, I don't really know what's going on with me today. It's a bit, I'm a bit out of my routine in terms of something different happening today. So I wonder if I rely really heavily on routine to keep me on plan, and I'm struggling to deal with different changes and things like that. I'm not sure. Don't really know. Again, I think we're going to have the kiddies' lunches are packed. I'm going to get the kiddies dressed. We just need to put some trousers on, and then we're off and out. So yeah, draw a line under it and carry on. See you in a bit. Hiya. Life's not gone to plan today. Food has not gone to plan today. But I'm okay. But I feel like I've gone to like a crossroads. So usually by this point, when I feel like this, it's time to write things down, time to reassess, time to see where how far I've come so far, what I can change, what's working for me, what's not working for me. So I'll probably do that later on tonight. It's just coming up to about 6-7 o'clock or so. We're just waiting for a food delivery, which usually is delivered at around 7:30 or something like that. And then we'll go up to bed. Get those kiddies into bed, and then I think I'll take a minute tonight just to do a video on self-care. So I was interested today as to how I don't put myself first. I don't look after myself overly well. This was way back when I was in when the babies were small, and I had to really work on my self-care because I didn't. I just realised I didn't really know how to do it. If you know what I mean, when you're single and living in your own environment, when you can take a rest when you want to take a rest, it's a bit easier to do self-care. But under pressure, you still need to keep those habits up, and they just got lost. I didn't really. I had to sort of remind myself to brush my teeth. I had to remind myself to actually have a shower and why it was important. And so I sort of started to make lists a long time ago about self-care. So I think I know that that's something that I don't put as a high priority, and when I get stressed, that that gets removed quite quickly. So I thought I'd probably do a little video on that later if I get a chance. If not, it'll be at another time. But I think it's one of those crux things, because I think it connects the two. When you're not eating well, it's a form of kind of lack of self-care, because realistically you should be looking after yourself and keeping yourself well and healthy, but addictive eating and kind of eating out of comfort and eating out of, what's the word, like kind of comfort eating is not necessarily actually down to self-care eating. So it's not, you feel like you're looking after yourself, but you're not really. So yeah, I'll just have a little think about that subject. There was a piece in a magazine I read as well about how we don't put ourselves first often, and there's always something else to be done rather than looking after ourselves, and sometimes as adults we don't have hobbies anymore. We just when we have spare time, we think about what we should be doing, not what we'd like to do, but what things should we tidy up next, and what should we prepare for for the next day, etc. So I thought I'll just do a little video on self-care and kind of what that means to me, and how if I don't do self-care, then and that's sometimes when my eating can suffer. But yeah, I feel a bit calmer now, a bit less scared. I think I was scared about change, scared about kind of because today was not the same sort of Saturday as it normally is. It sort of confused me a little bit, and my patterns weren't the same. You're right. You're going outside for some more snippy snips. They like making those gardens where they snip bits of grass and glue it to the cardboard box. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm okay now. I don't feel overly well, like I feel a bit lethargic, but that's because of the stuff I've eaten has not really given me lots of energy. So I'm gonna I didn't eat anything particularly overly bingey because I don't have that food in the house anymore, but just not on plan and not counting and not being mindful of what I was eating. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it's something that I don't enjoy that habit anymore. So it's one of those things I want to move past. I know it won't happen immediately. Excuse me. I know it won't, and it's just got to happen naturally and slowly. And I'm doing the process already, so it's not as if it's a new thing to me. This is the journey all the way along. Ever since starting Slim and Well, the journey is to kind of discover where your weaknesses are, as it were, where your struggles are, and help yourself to deal with them. So it's a process, and especially being at Target, and I don't want to be in a position where I just put the weight back on. I know I haven't lost a lot of weight. It's only been 2.5 stones. It's not really, I haven't lost a huge amount of weight, but I know that I was more comfortable then than I am now. So I don't want to go down the route of putting 2.5 stone back on, which I know as to if I go back to the way I was eating before, then that will just happen naturally. So I need to keep pushing. Excuse me. Just keep pushing to figure out and identify my triggers, and figure out and identify ways to help myself, and how and where my difficult points lie, and all those types of things, and how to help myself through those difficult moments. And I know it doesn't matter if I slip up here and there. I know that. I know full well that. But I don't want to use that as an excuse to carry on doing it. So yeah, I'm just going to go and I don't know what I'm going to do really. The shopping will be arriving in a bit, so I know what we're going to do. I'm going to go and have some water. So I'm feeling really, really thirsty. So I'm going to go and sit down and have a glass of water. So I'll see you in a bit. Might do a video tonight. If not, I'll just do a little video of what I've eaten, if I eat anything more today. And I will see you later. Bye.